I don't know if this is something you can answer. Don't you love the internet? Someone said, how healthy is dick?
Actually, I would say that dick is very healthy because it can decrease your stress response. So there. When used safely.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am back with Sarah, the amazing registered dietitian who loves poop and all things diet related. She is going to be giving us some more information today. This is the same day, moments later, after the outro of the last video. We're just continuing on the questions. You guys had a lot of good ones and we were starting to break some barriers and really get further with the information that we could provide you guys, and I was like, let's just do a part two. So we're doing that right now. Okay, let's just continue.
All right, let's go. There's so many questions. It's pretty incredible.
Steph Boswaldo said, how do you become a registered dietitian? What are the schooling requirements?
So to become a registered dietitian, you have to have an undergrad in nutritional science, and then you go and do an internship. And that has changed. I haven't done my internship. It's been like 10 years. I think it might be a little different, but basically it was a 900-hour accredited program where you go through and you look at food service. You do rotation in a hospital so that you're really understanding, all right, what does nutrition, what does it look like in a hospital setting, and how do you serve as a dietitian that way? And then we did community nutrition, so looking at different programs that are out there that are educating people in the nutrition capacity. What do those look like? So I did my internship out here in LA, and it was pretty incredible. It was the hardest year of my life, and I cried a lot.
Oh wow.
Because it was just, you know, a
lot of pressure.
It was, yeah, it's a new experience. You're in a hospital setting, you're around people that have 20, 30 years of education, and you're coming in and you're like, hi, it's me, the dietitian. This person hasn't eaten in 5 days and they might be hungry. Thanks, bye. Maybe we should advance their diet. And the doctor's like, that's not, you know, ask the other person. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just think they should eat. So the hospital was not my favorite place. I think it was a really good place to learn. And as a dietitian, I would say it's a critical place to be because it gives you a really good foundation in the body. And how it works when it breaks down and the different nutritional needs it has when it's healing versus someone that's healthy. So you do an internship to become a dietitian, and then I highly encourage anyone that's interested in nutrition to also look at functional medicine. Because as a dietitian, you're gonna get very good information about diet, but you're not gonna go deeper into what does it look like when someone isn't actually breaking down sulfur and having an issue with their liver detox. You just don't go into that as a dietitian, but in functional, you look at, okay, here's all the symptoms, and now how do you become even more effective in what you're doing, and how do you utilize these tests that can show you, oh my god, wow, like you have an omega-3 imbalance, and then it's like, oh, what? Oh, I need to eat more like anti-inflammatory foods and omega-3 rich foods, and it's a whole different space.
Totally supplements the career.
Yeah, like dietitian gives you that really strong science foundation so you don't get swept up into the world of like, it gets crazy out there where it's like, oh yeah, the maple syrup diet should be great for 3 days and then you'll recover it. No, we want to understand like, why are we doing that? Why does somebody even need a detox? What's the purpose? And like, then you can see, all right, I know my dietitian brain has this very strong science foundation, and I'm understanding like, okay, this is why we do clinical studies, and this is why we do research to understand how to effectively treat someone and not harm them. But then also the functional is just giving us that edge almost.
For sure.
So that was another really long answer.
No, I love it.
A simple question.
I love it. Canton said, what are your thoughts on veganism and meat eating diets? What is truly the healthiest for the body?
I work with a lot of people with digestive issues, and veganism can be really hard for people with digestive issues because you're eating a ton of carbohydrates. And that's kind of, you're switching away from this animal-based protein into proteins that typically have carbohydrates with them, which is fine. You can still do it. It's still healthy. It's not always best for everybody. So that's what it comes down to, again, what your body can tolerate. Do you have a balanced microbiome to be able to break things down and to process these things appropriately? The one thing that I will say is that diets that are more plant-based are healthier. Well, you don't have to say like, okay, veganism, because again, it's another extreme. So you don't necessarily have to say like, the only way to be healthy is to be vegan. No, you can still integrate way more vegetables, way more plant-based foods, and kind of look at the principles of veganism, but you don't have to be fully vegan. And I think that's a really good thing to transition into, and a goal to have is, how do you eat more plant-based foods? But it doesn't have to be like hardcore vegan, not eating meat. If you eat meat, like get it. No, like you can do these things, and that's where we're looking for non-extreme approaches to diet. Is saying, okay, you can still be healthy without going on a keto diet, and there's health in moderation. There's health in places where you're like, oh, I didn't even realize I was doing anything. I'm like, that's where we want to be.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna ask a question. How does stress affect our digestive system?
Oh God. There's so much to unpack when it comes to stress. Because stress is not just, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm so stressed stressed out. That's one side of stress.
Right.
So stress is an emotional perception. It is the way we see the world. I have all these things. Yes, I'm stressed out. And what that does is it actually interacts with our brain. So we have something in our body called the HPA axis, which is our hypothalamus, our pituitary gland, and our adrenal. So when we experience stress or see stress, or we're looking at stress, things that make us stress, our brain is activating and then it's sending chemicals, and now all of a sudden our cortisol is like pumping. So that cortisol comes in again. That makes us like, woohoo! You know, that's like boosting the energy. So like, I always say when you're giving a speech or you're about to do something where you're kind of scared or you have to like go into a meeting and give a presentation, you know, that's when you get that like intense adrenaline rush.
It is. I mean, whenever you have to go up or like auditions, everyone in LA, that's
there we go. Audition. So you're getting to go, you're going into audition and your body is prepping yourself to be ready, to be focused, to be on it. It's a stress.
Yeah,
it's like
is, for
we're
sure.
stressed and we're like need our body to
heart's racing
function.
and yeah.
The issue is we're chronically stressed. We have our cell phones and it's like ding, 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 and you're like, oh my god, I have to respond to this email, I have to respond to this text, I have to like look at social, I have to do all these things. We're just constantly now in this state of fight or flight. So sympathetic nervous system is like keeping us going, like you know, getting ready for the audition, getting ready for a talk. And what happens is we never access, or we don't access as frequently as we should, the other nervous system, which is parasympathetic, and that's rest and digest. And that's where we actually are breaking down our food appropriately and processing nutrients and things like that. So we have to be in a calm state to effectively digest our food.
I never knew that.
So that's one area of how stress impacts digestion.
I always wondered that because I was always like, if you're stressed, you're like, you're not going to be losing weight because you're going to be, and I was like, why? But I get it now because the parasympathetic system is not being tapped into at all.
At all.
Can you be stressed when you're sleeping?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, 100%. So that's another test that I do is looking at cortisol levels. So ideally you want your cortisol to spike when you wake up and then slowly decline throughout the day until you go to bed when it's nice and even.
Right.
And that also interacts with our blood sugar, which is another one where it's like, oh, you can start to see how things come together. There's systems that interact with each other. And then it's like, oh yeah.
And all directly affect each other.
Yes. Like, yes, and that's the beauty of nutrition. Another form is our food intake. So if we're cutting our calories, that's a form of stress. Our body is stressed out when we're under eating. And that's okay, but again, we need to be able to recover from stress. So if we already have a perceived really stressful life and now we're not eating enough calories, those are like, the stress is starting to build up. So if we are exercising intensely and cutting our calories and having a stressful life, okay, that's gonna be even harder for our body to recover. So now we're in the state of really stressed out. We're like, can our body actually handle this? And this is where I see women starting to gain weight.
Right.
When they're like, I'm doing all the healthy things and I'm just gaining weight, or I hold on to weight.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe it's a stress conversation.
Right.
And then the final part of it is our environment and what we're exposed to from a toxic standpoint. We're breathing things in our bodies can process, putting lotions and things on our hair. If those have toxins, that's an added stress because our body needs to process those. It needs to get it out of our system.
Right.
And if we are constantly bombarding it, it can only do so much before it starts to get imbalanced.
So what would be some tips that you would have for people just across the board to reduce their stress?
One of the easier ones is, starting with the toxins, is to look at what you're using on a daily basis and to try and get cleaner beauty. So I know Sephora now has like their little clean beauty icon on different things so that you can see as a consumer, okay, this is a cleaner version of lotion or hand cream or whatever it is. So that's an easy way. There's also an app called Think Dirty. And you can like download it and then you can scan things in your bathroom and it'll tell you how toxic it is. There's EWG, which is the Environmental Working Organization, and they have something on their website where you can search different products and see like what they rank and how dirty they are.
That's awesome.
So that's one that's like a little bit more fun and easy. Yeah. Because when you talk about stress management,
there's so many different...
it's tough and you have to find something that speaks to you. Usually I think meditation can be great. I think just like a 5-minute guided meditation, like the Calm app or Headspace. Something just to get you into the rhythm of breaking that go, and just being like,
I'm here.
And then something that I love that I've been doing that's not as accessible is sensory deprivation tanks or float tanks.
I've been hearing about those.
There's a place in Pasadena called Just Float and they're amazing. And you just go in, you turn the lights off, you have like a mini panic attack, and then you're like, oh, this is actually really nice.
I would be so afraid of.
It's terrifying.
How long do you sit in there for?
An hour. But But talk about getting into your parasympathetic nervous system.
Honestly.
When I have people with really bad digestive issues, I encourage them to go to the float tank because you're getting into that nervous system and you can actually hear your stomach. You'll hear it like, like starting to like say things because you're now all of a sudden you're giving it time to do what it needs to do.
I want to try.
It's
That's
really
so
fun.
cool.
And also they have tons of Epsom salt and magnesium. So your body's absorbing magnesium and your muscles are relaxing and it's helping
that sounds
with
so
your digestion.
nice.
It's like,
yeah, because you can't hear anything in the tank, right?
all you hear is your heartbeat and your digestion.
That's amazing.
It's a really cool experience and I would say everyone should try. It's not for everyone because it is scary.
Yeah.
But like once you get over that, just to be weightless, it's like
no, that sounds so
really cool. So we already answered that question to anybody that has asked about a float tank.
Oh yeah, we already addressed it.
We got you.
Way of K says, how much protein does your body really need? Is it 1.5/1.8 kilogram body weight? She's basically saying like, is 1.5 to 1.8 grams
Per kilogram of body weight.
Yes, thank you. Is that correct?
So I think that's a lot. I guess if you are really active, like really active, actively looking to build muscle mass, an athlete,
Right.
maybe around there, that's still pretty high. I think like 1.5 is probably plenty for someone that's really active. Usually I do it around 0.8 to 1 for the general person, and that's per kilogram of body weight. So I think a really easy way to just get a basic understanding is half your body weight. That can be what your protein requirement should be.
Okay.
If you're 100 pounds, it'd be 50 grams of protein for the day. And that's just a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Easy calculation.
Cool. And then FX Mulder 13 says, how best to promote a healthy gut internal?
How do I answer that simply? So promoting a healthy gut, I think, is slowing down and being aware of your environment. So getting into that mind, giving your body the ability to access the parasympathetic nervous system and just saying, okay, cool. I'm gonna take a couple deep breaths before I eat. I'm gonna eat slowly. I'm going to sit down while I eat. And just being present with your food is going to help significantly. Looking at what you're eating. So sometimes if you're having active digestive issues or you're feeling like really bloated, eating cooked vegetables is a good way to just kind of give your body a little bit of rest because raw veggies can be really tough to break down. I also really like when people take probiotics. I think taking a broad spectrum probiotic, lots of different strains of live strain and maybe soil based if you want to do both. I like both of them.
Hey, Annie Bear said, what is the #1 supplement for vegans? Iron supplement, vitamin D supplement, etc.
I have 2, maybe 3.
Okay.
But B12 for sure. Vegan source of B12 is gonna be good. Preferably methylcobalamin because that is an absorbable form of B12. So vegan source of that. Omega-3s. A lot of times vegans don't get enough omega-3s and you can get it from algae. So there's algae supplements that will give you a good source of omega-3s and they're not from an animal. Vitamin D would actually probably be a good one as well. Even as a meat eater, you're not getting a lot of vitamin D. So vitamin D for a vegan would be good. But definitely the B12, definitely the omega-3.
Why the B12? Because B12 is a source of energy, right?
Yeah, it plays a role in making energy in our body and it just doesn't come in a lot of plant-based sources.
Gotcha.
They actually did a study and found that there was measurable levels of B12 in beer, but not that you gotta drink beer to get B12. Like instead of eating this, just go drink beer. I think they were like maybe trying to like boost the beer morale, but I'm not suggesting drinking beer, but I just thought that was like an interesting.
Just a fun fact.
Just a little.
Cassidy B says, are there specific foods that can help with migraines?
Any foods that are high in magnesium is just the first thing that I think of because oftentimes we're not getting enough magnesium and that can lead to migraines. So anything with like dark leafy greens are the way I always suggest going. Eating things like smoothies, that's an easy way to get dark leafy greens in there. Salads.
Phalian_01 said, what is the best diet for GERD and can you get rid of it?
Yeah, so GERD is gastroesophageal reflux disorder. Basically what that means is it's an overproduction of acid. So it can be happening from the foods you're eating or sometimes it's happening because we have poor functioning valves in our body. So we have a valve at the top of our stomach that keeps the acid in and sometimes that can weaken and the acid can kind of cause like rise up and give us burping or that burning sensation.
Okay.
So first and foremost is you want to remove acidic forming foods. So things like grapefruit, tomato, chocolate, spicy foods, sometimes really high fat rich foods can cause problems for people. Pineapple, that's another one that's like really acidic. And you want to look at having things that are more alkaline. So like lots of vegetables is really good. The other thing that I think of too, just as the practitioner that I am, is it an overproduction of acid or is it an underproduction of acid? So sometimes people with acid reflux are actually not making enough acid. So their body is over responding and producing way too much acid.
Gotcha.
That's another thing. So maybe taking like an enzyme with some HCl or betaine or ox bile, that can help just give the body some more acid so it's not producing so much. And that
Gotcha.
can help with reflux. But you want to be careful because if you're overproducing and then you take something with more acid,
You can just make it worse.
it's gonna blow you out.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, no, that's probably,
Okay.
that's good.
What is the best way to recover from metabolic damage?
You can look at food. You can start with food and heal your relationship with food and just make sure that you're getting the right types of things. Making sure you're eating enough vegetables. I typically tell people to eat 5 cups of vegetables a day as a good starting point.
Wow, I'm so not doing that.
I don't do that every day. Like I think about that, I'm like, oh my God, no. Like I started today with like a lot of veggies because I was like, today is my day. I'm gonna eat all the veggies today. And that's the thing, like nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stand here and say that I am perfect.
Yeah.
Like my goal is 5 cups of vegetables a day. Do I hit that every day? No.
But is it a good goal to have? Yes.
It's a good one. And like, yeah, we're all working on being the best versions of ourselves and feeding ourselves in the best way. So I think that's another part of healing from metabolic disorders is making sure that you're supporting anything that can bring down inflammation, because metabolic disorders, a lot of the core of that is inflammation. So making sure you're feeding yourself, you're managing stress. Going through an experience, not being well, going through healing is very stressful on the body. So giving yourself some time to just recover and not saying like, I should be doing this, I have to like go do this hour workout. Like no, sometimes we just need to sit and repair and like chill.
Yeah.
So eating really nutrient-rich foods, just taking time to recover from stress, maybe doing like light movement, light yoga, anything restorative, meditation. Those are all good ways to start just like a healing foundation.
Awesome. Jaffari says, how should you eat/exercise if you've lost your period?
So typically when women lose their period, it's because their bodies are under a lot of stress and they're usually over-exercising and under-eating.
Oh, okay.
So what I typically tell people to do is probably eat more and exercise less because you want to be able to give your body an opportunity to rebalance its hormones. Sometimes looking to it, if you're on a certain medication, if you're on a certain birth control, maybe it's too strong, or playing with that and adjusting that so that you're actually getting your period every month, because it's so important for us as women to get our period every month. It's another thing like pooping every day. It's our internal way to check in and make sure that things from a hormonal perspective are working the way they should be. Because a lot of athletes won't get their period. It's not good for the long term. So we want to say like, is there a way that we can create a relationship to exercise and to our athletic performance that's supporting our bodies and still allowing it to do its function?
What is the average cost of a nutritionist, and how can you sort through the BS nutritionist?
Yeah.
That's a loaded question.
That's a good one. It depends on where you live, I think, for the average cost of a nutritionist, and it depends on someone's experience level, because the more experienced nutritionist, dietitian that you're going to work with, I'm sure the more they're going to charge. So I would say 75 to 125 is probably where a nutritionist is going to fall, maybe a dietitian. As you start getting into higher level, like functional dietitian, things like that, it can go up to $200, $300 an hour.
Oh, and then sorting through the BS nutritionists.
Oh yeah, so how do you do that? I think it's just like doing research and looking at their message that they're portraying online and seeing if they have good testimonials, not like testimonials that are made up, or reaching out to them and saying like, hey, this is what's going on with me. What do you suggest, or is there anyone that I can talk to that you've worked with in the past that has gone through this? I offer 15-minute free consultations. We can just get on the phone and say like, does this feel like a good fit? Are we gonna jive? And for me too, am I gonna be able to support you in a way that makes the most sense? Because like, I'm not gonna be a good fit for everyone. So I think you have to just kind of find who you vibe with and who you feel like, okay, this person could help me ask the questions that you really wanna know and see what they say.
Yeah, because you also have to be super comfortable with this person, because you talk about
everything.
Everything. Yeah.
You should. There's a good way to know. Like, you should be talking about more than just what you're eating.
Yeah, and you should feel
not always
doing that. You shouldn't feel like they're like, why are you talking to me about this?
Not just a journey of food.
Yes. From Plentifully Sweet, best foods to help with hair loss.
I look at high quality sources of protein, so that's gonna help support your hair follicles. B vitamins as well, so like biotin is a big one, which I think is B7, but eggs are gonna be a good source of that. Getting enough fat, so a lot of times you can get like brittle hair. It doesn't look as great when you're restricting your fat and not getting things that are making your skin produce healthy fat. Sunflower seeds, those are gonna have some good fats. Hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds are all good sources of omega-3 fats. So like thinking about healthy fat, good sources of protein, because you wanna support the follicle health.
Right.
And that's like like the main goal. So B vitamins will do that. Zinc can do that. Folic acid, which is a B vitamin as well.
Gabby Briella says, what's the maximum length of time to stay in a caloric deficit?
Ooh, good question. So if your body is hormonally balanced and you already know that like your body can handle a calorie deficit, it's such a tough question to answer because like a calorie deficit could be 100 calories a day. So if you're targeting weight loss, that can be a really good way to do it because you don't want to lose more than a pound a week. You can stay at a calorie deficit as long as you're continuing to lose weight and you don't feel like really low in energy. You don't start to feel other symptoms. You can stay in that until you reach your goal.
Okay.
Really. And then your body's gonna kind of rebalance and you have to reassess your calories. But just again, it's really being in tune with your body and your body's own needs and saying, okay, I feel dizzy all the time. That's a really big red flag that, you know, something's not working, or all of a sudden your body is holding on to more weight than it is losing.
Right.
Another insight. So you just want to be really in tune with your body and say, okay, I know I'm going to put it at a deficit. Let me just like make sure I check in and know like this is what I need.
Well, guys, I think that is everything for these 2 videos. I am so happy. Thank you so much for doing this. I think you're gonna help so many people out there. So if you have any friends or family that you think will find this video useful, send it to them, help them, because nutrition is a huge thing where people just get easily lost or overwhelmed by it. If you guys want to see more videos with Sarah in the future, make sure to like this video, comment down below some other videos, ideas you'd want to see. So if you see a video idea that you like in the comment section below, just like that comment, because the more upvotes it gets, the faster I'll see it and we can make it happen. As I said at the end of the last video, make sure to follow Sarah on Instagram. Check out her website. She does take appointments whether you live in LA or not. She can meet with you online or on the phone or whatever the case is. So I'll leave all of her information linked down below. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much again for the millionth time for being on the channel.
This was so fun.
It was so fun. With all that said, guys, we will catch you, or I will catch you guys in the next video. I love you guys so much. Besitos. Bye.
Bye.